What's up, everybody? I'm Greg Miller, and this is the PlayStation Wonderkind, Vince Ingenito. How you doing, Vince?
I'm doing great. I'm doing amazing now that I apparently have an official... is that official? Am I the PlayStation Wonderkind?
There you go. You might as well. You've earned it. It's been a big 2013 for you. It's been a big 2013 for that PlayStation 3 as well.
Oh, indeed.
You're here to give me the Game of the Year nominees for the PS3 from IGN.com as overwritten by Per Schneider, LLC.
That's right. And
what do you got? What are the 5?
Okay, and they are in no particular order.
Sure.
The Last of Us, The Last of Us, The Last of Us.
That's not right.
No, that's not how it
No. What do you got? What do you got?
Okay,
The Last of Us.
The real list is The Last of Us.
Okay.
BioShock Infinite.
Sure.
Tomb Raider. Ni no Kuni, and Grand Theft Auto 5.
Oh, okay, good list. That's
Yeah.
solid. It's been a solid year for this year.
When I looked at that list and sat down, I was like, wow, it has been an incredible year. Like, we are spoiled this year.
Yeah.
We really are.
Let's start with the dark horse, Ni no Kuni. Ni no Nana, as Colin Campbell used to call it.
Yes.
Why is that on the list?
It's on the list because it's probably the first big-budget AAA JRPG to come out in a really long time and do well critically and commercially.
Right.
This is a game that has a heartfelt story that explores themes that honestly a lot of JRPGs just don't bother with. Loss
of a mother.
Yeah, so the loss of a mother. Yeah,
The first 5 minutes
it's first 5 minutes of the game,
played.
right? You absolutely should be playing this. Like, if you're a JRPG fan and you haven't played it yet, like, you're totally missing the boat. I know how it's been with JRPGs the last few years.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of games that are. I love the genre, but they've been less than great.
Sure.
And then you've got, Square Enix doing stuff with Final Fantasy that, some people really like, and some people, purists, RPG fans aren't super happy about.
Sure.
If you're that
But
RPG purist,
the return to
yeah.
hardcore JRPG mechanics, a little bit of Pokemon in there as you're capturing all these characters.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you just say Pokemon?
Yeah, that's how you pronounce it here in California.
Okay.
Get used to it.
I'll be right back after I go commit ritual suicide. Thanks. But yeah, Ni no Kuni definitely should be something that you're playing if you're a JRPG fan. If you missed it, it absolutely deserves to be on that list.
All right, BioShock. Let's switch gears. BioShock Infinite finally comes out.
Yeah.
It's been a long time in the making. What made it so great?
Well, I think the biggest thing that sets it apart is the art direction and the creation of its world.
Colombia is so beautiful.
Colombia is an amazing looking place, and it's really something that looks like it came right out of someone's dreams.
Yeah.
And that's my favorite thing about creativity, and that we don't see enough of in our medium, is I like to think of that people create something when they need to. When it's sitting there in their dreams and their nightmares sometimes, even when it's dark, and they just need to get it out of them.
Yeah.
And Colombia feels very much like a world that Ken Levine needed to create, and his team needed to get out there, that it was in their hearts and their souls, and every single frame looks like that. So
fascinating ending, great voice acting, great performances.
Absolutely. Whether you feel the thematics mix well with the style of gameplay and the kind of run and gun that's in there, that's up for debate for sure, but there's no doubting that the themes that they at least begin to explore, and that they explore visually, with their different storytelling techniques, very, very evocative, very interesting to look at, and very interesting to think about.
All right. Next up, Lara Croft's Return, Tomb Raider. Why did it make the list?
Yes, it made the list because, for it being a reboot of a famous and well-known franchise, the thing that's really special about it is just its level of craft. I mean, overall, just visually, audio-wise, gameplay mechanics, the way that combat feels.
Such a dream to play, right? That's what I would come back to. It's a game that doesn't mind being a game. I killed this thing, I got some boats, I made this upgrade, and now I'm going to just have fun and get cool weapons and rope darts and all this crazy stuff. Well, fight a wolf, why not?
And that's what's really important, is that we don't talk about that enough. We talk about what innovates or what does something completely new.
Yeah.
But when you think about it, like the film industry, I mean, there hasn't been a new genre or a huge revolution in how film is made for a long time now. That medium is out of that infancy, and we're starting to get to that point where we're coming out of that infancy. We've invented all the things most of what we need to invent, and now sometimes it's okay for a game just to execute really well on all fronts, and that's what Tomb Raider does really well.
Nice. And then we get to the 10s. Grand Theft Auto 5, Last of Us. Which one do you want to start with?
Let's start with Grand Theft Auto 5.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So Grand Theft Auto 5 is a game that exists on a scale that it doesn't belong on the Xbox 360 or the PS3. Like honestly, I still look at that game and I go, that looks like a first wave next-gen title, not a PS3 game.
It's that, Los Santos Island, right? That you can go from one side to the other, no loads, it all streams in, there's planes, there's this, there's that, and there's always going to be this Thelma and Louise moment every night. You're like, what is going on?
Where that perfect song is playing in the background as you drive over a cliff.
Yeah, right.
Like, wow.
All these moments that are coincidence but seem totally driven.
Sure, absolutely. Well, that's what happens when you put in so many different elements that ape kind of real life. Like, that's what's interesting to me about Grand Theft Auto, is that there's all these little details that are designed to make you feel like it's your your world away from your world, right? You've got your cell phone, you've got your therapist, you've got your family that's nagging you. It feels even just the everyday like gameplay cycle of it, where you wake up, you inhabit this character, you get into your car, you go, you do a mission, you come back to your home at the end of the day, you call your son, he doesn't want to talk to you because you're not cool anymore. Sounds just like real life to me.
And my son. All right, and then we come to The Last of Us. Naughty Dog's swan song to the PlayStation 3.
Yes, and
not Uncharted.
No, not Uncharted.
Tell me why you love Last of Us.
The reason I love The Last of Us and the reason why I think it's on the list and why I think it's got a good shot at winning is because, now going back to what I just said, not a lot of games have done something new, and there's not a lot totally new to do necessarily in games. What we still haven't figured out is how we hit that sweet spot between storytelling and something that feels like you said, that's a video game, like Tomb Raider, where you're playing it. And The Last of Us is the vision of the future on that. It is the perfect marriage of the two. Now, I'm not saying it executes story perfectly.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it necessarily executes gameplay perfectly, although I think it executes both very, very well.
Right.
But it's the way it balances the two and melds them together. It's like a perfection and an evolution of the techniques that Half-Life showed, that Halo showed, that any game that you can think of that's done a strong scripted element to tell story while you're continuing to play. The Last of Us takes elements of that, but then also balances in just the right amount of cutscenes with some genuinely great writing, which honestly there's a lot of pretty bad writing in the video games.
Yeah.
I love my medium, but we're not known for great writing, and Last of Us is one of the few games to have both great production values and great gameplay, but also have a mature story that is well written and well tempered and not overdone, and doesn't hit things over the head repeatedly, and does it in a subtle and artful way.
I could have said that better myself. You sure are this PlayStation 1 and I'll tell you what. Thank you for your time.
Oh, it's been a pleasure.
Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think of IGN's PS3 Game of the Year nominations presented by Pear Schneider LLC? Let us know in the comments. Then make sure you share this with your friends so they leave their nominations below. And then keep coming back to IGN until we figure out what this dang PlayStation 3 Game of the Year is.